Hey guys, this is Cassidy, and I did my 14-day field experience at Parkview Elementary School, and I had the honor to be in a third grade classroom with Miss Pavlis, and I will also be student teaching with the same classroom, so I just really loved having this opportunity to get to know each and every one of the kiddos, get to know their personalities, their likes, their dislikes, and really just get to spend time with them. During this 14-day field experience, I learned a lot of things and I got to experience so much. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. First things first, our relationships with our students are the most important thing that we could be doing in the classroom. First of all, we need to love all of our students. Obviously, that should go without saying. I know we all will have kiddos in our classroom that kind of give us a run for our money, and those are the students that need the most love. They need to know that you love them and that you're correcting their behavior because of that love and not because we think they're a quote unquote bad kid. We want them to do better for themselves so that they can have the best learning environment possible so that they can continue to learn and grow and to become just the best version of themselves. And while they're this young, it's our jobs to kind of help them form who they're going to be in the future. And so when we're able to have a strong relationship with them, they will know that we're correcting their behavior because we love them, not because of any other ill intent. Greetings and goodbyes can make their day, and it can really set the tone for the school day. Just taking the time to greet each kid as they walk through the door, to give them a fist bump or a hug and just call them by name and say good morning or I hope you have a great night, whatever time of day it is. It really just helps them feel loved and connected to you. And finally, for relationships, find time throughout the day to have some one-on-one time with your kiddos. Of course, it's probably not likely that you're going to get through all of the kids in your class. I had 25 in my class, and I know that it's kind of hard to squeeze that into a day. However, just finding time throughout the day to at least have some one-on-one time with 5 of your kids is a really good goal. I know I found this time by helping them get ready to go out to recess, just helping them zip their coats and get their gloves on. It really just allowed me to have 45 seconds with each kid while I helped them and to really talk to them and get to see how their day was going, and that was really special for me. Rotations are huge, and I really love the way that this is set up in Parkview. So during both language arts and math, they have rotations. And I really love this because it allows each child to have time to meet with their teacher in a small group setting. And during the other times of the day, they have options that they can work on. For example, in language arts, we have 4 blocks during our 1 hour of instruction time. And so when the kids are not meeting with the teacher, they have 3 open blocks that they can choose from, and our kiddos could work on their writing, they could do some word work, they could read to self, they could listen to reading, they could check out the classroom library. There's a lot of different options, and each kid had to rotate through the different options so they couldn't repeat something twice. And I thought this was a great way to keep all the kids that aren't in small group interested in what they're doing so that everything's quiet and you can focus on your small group instruction, but also to give them a wide variety of different types of language arts and things that they needed to work on in each of those areas. And math, we only had 3 blocks during our chunk of instruction time, and so one of those was of course in a small group with a teacher, and then the other 2 choices students could be on technology doing some educational math games such as Khan Academy, or they were doing some of their at their desk work, and that was explained at the beginning of the instructional time. So I just really loved how this was laid out. Every kid knew what they needed to do, and they were really independent, which was amazing and crucial for small group work. Speaking of small groups, I loved how my teacher organized these groups because it was never the same kids in the same group. So we had our base groups that we would go to if we were opening up a new topic or skill, but after we had one or two pieces of work done, we would go through those and really organize the kids into groups based on what their levels were and what they needed to work on. For example, if we had a group of kids who had a hard time capitalizing and punctuating, we'd put kids into that group. If we had a group of kids that needed to work on their multiplication, we'd group them together. And so it was just a really good way to make sure that each kid was receiving what they needed to, not just based on whatever grade level they were tested at. And then I really enjoyed that math and language arts had rotations like I talked about in the last slide. And finally, the rest of the class is able to work independently during this time because it is so structured, and which really just allows for us during small groups to be intentional with our kiddos and to really give them all of that time and attention, because we're not constantly trying to keep the rest of the class managed in a good way. Transitions are key. During my last week, I was able to run all of the transitions, and it is way harder than I thought it would be. Just trying to get the kids' attention and trying to keep them quiet was really, really difficult. So I learned that consistency is key. If you're correcting one kid on how loud they are in class, you gotta correct all of them. And you have to hold them accountable. So if you say that if you get 3 warnings, you have a walking ticket at recess, you have to follow through with that walking ticket if they get 3 warnings throughout the day. Otherwise, they're just not going to follow that rule because they know that you're not going to hold them to it. We need to set expectations so that they know what behavior is expected, so that when they are corrected, they understand why they're getting corrected and they know what changes need to be made. And finally, if there are changes in the schedule, such as, oh, for concert practice, we're going to go to library today instead of to music because they're setting up their risers, we need to let them know ahead of time, because our kids are so structured that they know where they need to be and when they need to be there, and it can really throw them off when we change that. So before you get them in line and try to take them to specials, make sure they know what class they're going to if it's different than what they're used to. Finally, smile every single day. There's always a reason to smile. It could be something that a student has worked on. For example, we were doing some November writing, talking about Thanksgiving traditions or our favorite food at Thanksgiving time, and I had one student write that their favorite food was Jell-O because it's a solid and a liquid at the same time, and that just made me laugh so much, and my mentor teacher as well. It could be something like the notes or drawings that you got. I walked into this adorable poster on my very first day and I absolutely loved it. And I also have gotten so many different notes and cards and drawings from my students throughout my time here, and it really just makes you feel valued and loved, and it makes you really enjoy your job. It can also be funny little things that kids say throughout the day that can just make you smile. Kids are so fun to be around, and don't let some of the hard parts of teaching affect your ability to smile, and make it a fun learning environment. If you're having fun and laughing, so will your kids. And here are my resources. I just referenced my teacher, Miss Pavlis, and then all of my pictures are on here as well. Thank you.